Hey gang, as I continue with Mystique and the various repairs involved with getting her back on the road, I believe my last video I showed the front aprons and the core support and how to install those, and I did of course some finish work up there. And so now I'm doing little things that need to be done to get this car into the paint booth area where I can start doing my filler work and finish work. So there's a few things I need to show, or I want to show. One is these little brackets that I straightened out and got those in place on both sides. There was some weld repairs I needed to do on this door structure. This bracing internally was cracked and broken, and so I welded that back together. As I move along the car, I'm just finding little areas that need to be addressed. Now, one of these areas is this deck lid. And as you can see, I've got the deck lid supported in this case by some furring strip and some 20-pound weights to hold it down. I don't want to latch it right now. And I've got some tools sitting on top. Well, all that is in place for working on this dent. You can see there's a big dent right here. And this had Bondo in it, and I ground out the Bondo, but this really was the second dent, because the Bondo that was there took care of a previous dent, and then it was hit again. So after grinding out the Bondo, I can see where there was, a crease here, and of course some attempts at fixing dents and different things. Now normally for a light dent, I would probably use my stud welder. I've used it before and it works great, and that's from Harbor Freight. But I think with this location and the thickness of the metal, it would probably be a little bit too much for that stud puller. So I'm going to use a different technique, and this is something I used to do at the body shop with heavy pulls, especially if I was using the frame machine to pull stuff. But I don't need a frame machine here. But what I'm going to do is I got some scrap metal. I'm going to weld it into that low point of what should be the high spot, obviously, on the dent area, and I'm going to weld that on, and I'm going to take my homemade slide hammer, which is just a pair of vice grips on a rod with a weight on the end. And you can make one of these out of a piece of all thread. Just get one that's going to fit your vice grips. And then of course I'll do a little dolly work with my hammer. So let me get set up and show you how I'm going to fix this. First thing I'm going to do is weld on my little tab. And then I'm going to hook on with my slide hammer. Give it a few pops. Now while that's still on there, I'm also going to take my body hammer give it another little hit. And you can see that dent comes out pretty well. Now, you don't want to over pull, but you want to make sure you get it out as far as you can. Now what I'll do is I'll cut that tab off with my Ziz wheel. And then clean that a little grinding. And that's a good start to getting that dent out. You can already see a major difference. So now I'll probably use my that stud nailer, like I was saying, and hit these lower spots and try to get those to come out. Okay, so I'm going to use the nail puller or stud welder, however you want to call it. And they've got two different sizes of studs, and they each come with a different fitting to go into the gun. I'm going to use the heavier one. You can see it just inserts into the gun. Get on your dented area, push in, and that'll weld to it. And then there's another area down below, right there. So with those two in place, I'm going to take the slide hammer attachment, and it has this little rolling cam lock. And basically you slide it over the stud, rotate that cam back, and pull a little tension on it. And kind of eyeball it, see where it's at. That's pretty close. One more pull on that. And then I'll cut these studs off again with my Ziz wheel. Grind those down. Well, I think you can see the difference. There's still a little bit of a dent right there, and there's a little bit right here. It's rolled in. I'm not going to go over and over showing you this, but basically I'm going to continue to use some of those stud nails and pull this area up just slightly. I know there's going to have to be filler, but it's better to have just a light coat of filler than some big heavy piled on stuff. So I'll continue to work on this and show you what it looks like when I'm done. And just to show you, you're going to take multiple pulls to get those dents out. I'm pretty happy with how it looks right now, but I'm still going to have to, obviously cut off the rest of these studs, and I'm going to weld shut the little holes that were left over. I found another one from the previous repair work, and let me get that cleaned up a little bit, and I'll show you how that looks. And I think that's my stopping point. I'm done using the spot welder and the MIG, and I'm pretty happy with it. As you can see, there's a big difference between the dent that was there and what I'm going to have to work with now. And obviously it's still going to take some filler to smooth it up, but that's okay. You know, these panels, these old panels are better than the new stuff in most cases, and they're worth saving. So if it takes just a little bit of work and you can save it, I would say save it. That's about it for this part. I'm going to work on getting the car back into the paint booth area so I can start doing my filler work and get this thing smoothed up and make some progress towards getting it into paint. So that's it for now, and thanks for watching.